The game with the Clippers last night versus the Suns, the Clippers fall short. The Clippers did everything they could. They played hard. I thought they came out and they played with a lot of energy in the beginning. And, they had like a dominant presence in the beginning. Before we get into everything, though, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't. But either way, the Clippers, they came into the game with energy. As I said, they came into the game with a lot of fight in them, a lot of dog in them, and a lot of, bravado in them. And, Kawhi was defending so well, so great against Kevin Durant. Man, he was just playing so good, He was playing very well, and he was knocking down big shots as always. He ended up with like 31 points, I believe. Kawhi was just, a monster as always. But, Russell Westbrook played, pretty well too. He had about 27 points. He was like almost, I think he was perfect from the free throw line. You definitely can't ask for no better than that. As a team, they made some mistakes. They made some turnovers, but, they still had a lot of opportunity to win this game, because when you look at it, even though the Suns were playing well, they went on like a big run. They went up by like 12 points or something like that. The Clippers cut it back all the way down to 7. And those are some encouraging things, because, the Clippers, when you think about them, you definitely think about their scoring ability and their perimeter shooting with all their depth. But you also got to think about, just the way they play in regards to energy, and their defense. They could really stifle some teams. And I just think that the Clippers' energy on defense ran away. It just faded away during the game. It was like in that late second quarter, I'd say about 5 minutes to go, when they were up by 13 points, and Phoenix just goes on that huge run, and all of a sudden the game is tied at halftime. And I felt like that was just like, one of those backbreakers kind of sort of for the Clippers, because it's like, man, you had all the momentum and you let them come back and tie it. And then as the second half started, they came out, scored the first 6 points. I think, Devin Booker, he scored on a fast break, and they scored the first 6 points. And that was kind of like, where everything kind of went south for the Clippers. And, honestly, in the game, when I think about it too, when I saw Kawhi out there scoring, there was a few plays where Kawhi was complaining that the referees won't give him a call. And, the crazy thing is, we never see Kawhi complain about any calls or anything. So it's got to be, it had to be some type of, BS, in regards to the referees and what they were doing. But, that doesn't matter. It's no excuses. The Clippers didn't come through with the victory. They should have, because I felt like, the way they started out, if they would have kept that energy, it's no way the Phoenix Suns come out with a victory in this game. But, it's hard to sustain that through a, 4-quarter period. The Clippers played well. They definitely, need some improvements, and they definitely go back and, look at the tape and see, what they can fix, as a team. But, they just got to be better on defense. The way they started that game is how they got to end it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's about like taking the other team out of the game psychologically. And the only way you're going to do that is if you wear them down mentally, physically throughout the game. You can't stop. You have to keep going. And that's just what, that's what the Clippers, have to realize. And, it was one of those games where they played hard. They fought it out to the end. The Clippers did what they can do. And then, the Suns kind of just busted open after that. They got to find a way to trap, KD or show traps to KD, but actually be able to recover on defense the way they did the first game. Because the first game they didn't play it safe. They went out there and played like they were a dangerous team, and they played on both ends of the floor, and they were knocking down shots. And that's another thing I think about this game too. Some of the players that were knocking down shots the last game, just didn't come through and knock down shots this game. I mean, Eric Gordon did pretty good, when he was in. But, it's like the first game was like everybody chipped in. Everybody that was on the floor had a contribution. They knocked down either a big shot, they made a defensive play, and they just, kept going at the Suns the whole time. And they were putting some hella crazy defense on Devin Booker. And, shout out to him. He did have a great game, Devin Booker. But, the Clippers got to be better on him. They got to be more, attached to him. And I don't know if, Ty Lue needs to make a rotational change or something like that. But I like Terrence Mann on Devin Booker more than anybody else. I just don't think nobody else really can, kind of stay with him like that. Of course, Kawhi can, but I mean, Kawhi is guarding the bigger assignment in Kevin Durant, which is a tall assignment, trust me, because, trying to guard KD and stop him and give 30 on the other end is a tough thing to do. So it's like, when you look at that in its entirety, you got to, give Kawhi a lot of credit for even, attempting to guard the best player and everything on the other team, because, really, in this series between Kawhi and KD, Kawhi has been the better player in this series, even though the Clippers lost last night. I just feel like his dominance in the game is felt every time he scores and every time he goes at them, you know what I'm saying? So he just needed more help from, maybe some of the role players is what they needed. Now their role players did play fairly well, but they didn't play as good as they played in that first game. And they're going to need more from, Norman Powell if they plan on trying to win this series, because Norman Powell he has to have at least about 17 to 20, probably every game, for the Clippers. He has to average that. And if he can average that consistently, along with Kawhi giving you 30 plus, and if Russ can give you, like I said, about 17 himself, 15 to 17 with about 8 assists and maybe 1 or 2 turnovers, that would be ideal for the Clippers, because Kawhi is going to be Kawhi. And if they can play within that realm right there, they can, play a lot better and a lot more fluid offensively. And, like I said, defensively, they have to, crowd them. They have to, talk to each other on defense. They have to be more communicative on defense, because the assignment's there and you can't have breakdowns with a team like this, because they'll make you pay, because they got, shooters, them 3 shooters that they have will definitely kill you, from 3 or mid range. So, and all of them shoot mid range, and it's crazy because, Kawhi likes to operate in the mid range. So, I mean, it's like just an all out battle between that mid range and knocking down crazy shots. It's been a great series so far. I've been proud. I really like this series, but I definitely think it's going to get better going forward. That game 3 is going to be super highly important. The Clippers are going to have to, buckle down and tighten the screws, because, when you think about it, like, that game 3 is like one of those games where the percentage of whoever wins game 3 usually wins the series. And I'm not saying that percentage is 100%, but it's a pretty, big percentage, like in the 50s or 60s, I believe. So, winning that game 3 is vitally important. You want to take back that home court advantage. If you're the Clippers, especially, you want to put your foot down in the first game. You don't want to lose the first game and have to win the second home game the way, the Suns did. You don't want to have to go through that. You want to put your foot down and win the first game at home at least, and then you see what your odds are in the second game in regards to trying to really take over the series. And I feel like the Clippers can do it, as long as Kawhi stays consistent, which he pretty much always, you don't have to worry about that. I mean, he's just so valuable when he's on the floor. I mean, he can just control a game by, all the other things he can do. I mean, that steal that he had from Kevin Durant was like, definitely like Kawhi at his best. I mean, that was just, he can do that. He's the only, player that can, stop other players at times and get into their psyche in regards to, how they should, change their game up and their approach against Kawhi. And a lot of times that allows him the psychological advantage over his opponent, which definitely, weakens their ability and allows him to, come out on top with big steals and make big plays on defense along with his offense. He can definitely, be a monster. Of course, he's still a top player in the league, no matter what nobody says. I think he's the best player in the league still when healthy. So no doubt there. But it's going to take more than Kawhi Leonard being the best player in the league, for the Clippers to win. It's going to take, everybody on the Clippers with collective effort behind, the great Kawhi Leonard that can help this team win this series, because this series is definitely going to be a tough one going forward, as I said, and this game 3 is going to be even tougher. So the Clippers got to put this game 2 behind them and move on to the next, because game 3, yeah, fireworks.